everybody. I'm going to be talking about princelings in China. So, first of all, I don't think anybody's ever heard the term princeling. So, first of all, I'll touch on what is a princeling and why are they predominantly found in China. So, a princeling is usually a son or daughter, but it can be any sort of relative of a communist official or a very powerful official in China. Usually found in China, but I'm going to give an example of one in America. But so these powerful people have many privileges. They go to the best schools. They're very wealthy, and that's all because of their powerful parents or relatives. So there's different kind of princelings. Obviously, there's real estate princelings. There's military princelings. There's political princelings, and I guess the next question you're going to be asking me is, why haven't I heard about these Chinese princelings? Like, why have I not really heard about this in the news? And that's because the Chinese government is a communist government, so they can control the media. So, I mean, if they don't want something getting out, they can really just say, we're not going to print that, and we're in control of that. So that's kind of why not so many people have heard of it, and it's really only on internet articles. It's really, you don't find it on the news. So, a prime example of a princeling is Wen Jiabao. He is the Prime Minister of China. And actually, it was uncovered that his family has $2.7 billion in hidden riches. That was uncovered by David Barboza from the New York Times. And that just goes to show you, communist officials, they have money. They have the power. And then the next question, I mean, I was going to touch on this later, but I'll touch on it now. The communist government is supposed to be a government for the people. That's the whole point of a communist government. But as you'll see later, really all the communist government shows to be is a government for themselves, because all these officials really are just getting wealthy for themselves and their family. So another example of a princeling, of an American princeling, is Donald Trump. So, prime example, his dad was a real estate tycoon in New York, and Donald Trump, as having a rich, powerful dad, went to the best business school in the country, Wharton Business School at the University of Pennsylvania. So, why am I bringing this up? Because there's not just Chinese examples of princelings, there's American examples as well. So, he's a prime example, and princelings, it goes on for generations. As Trump's children, Ivanka and Donald Trump Jr., they went to Wharton too, the best business school in the country. And that's because their father went there, and it just goes generational. I'm not saying anything's wrong with it, I'm just informing the audience. But, so let's talk about why do we care? Why do we care about princelings? Yeah, there's rich people, but why do we care? It's because princelings affect us financially and economically. So Merrill Lynch, for a prime example, was investigated by the SEC because they hired a princeling. They hired a princeling that princeling's father was in the communist government of China, and Merrill Lynch hired him so that way they could have insider information on what to invest in, new businesses starting up. And the SEC actually investigated them, but they found no wrongdoing. So I'm not going to say they did anything illegal, but many times there are borderline legal practices done with princelings. And that's how they become so wealthy. So DreamWorks was also involved with a princeling in China, DreamWorks, so China's been trying to break into the United States film industry. And so what happened was they became like business partners with a princeling from China, and when interviewed about their business practices with him, they denied to comment because they didn't want to get out, because again, their practices are really borderline, really kind of fishy. So then there's also a son of a Chinese official right now who has the largest satellite company in the world, and that's prime example of being a princeling. His dad is part of the Chinese government, so he's like, hey, your satellite company, we're going to use that for our nation, because again, that's how princeling works. You just help out your family. That's a prime example right there. So, and then we're also going to talk about, there's many Asian college students, especially from China, that come here, and they're very wealthy, especially at U of I. I think we have the most Chinese exchange students in the country. And I don't know if any of you guys have friends or anything that go to U of I, but I'm sure they tell you, oh, I saw a kid driving around a Bentley, or I saw a kid driving around a Lamborghini. That's because those kids are princelings, and their families have quite a bit of money. And I just really want to touch on really quick. Trump is a prime example, as his dad bailed him out of bankruptcy. When we're talking about, I don't know if you guys can see it, but Trump Taj Mahal, the Trump Plaza, the Trump Castle, his dad bailed him out of debt as he sent a lawyer in to buy $3 million worth of chips because Trump was going to go under. Prime example. And then as I talk about these rich college students with nice cars, I hope you guys can see this. Oops. Right here. These are students at U of I with a $150,000 car, $100,000 car, $80,000 car, and they're in college. Their parents are paying for this. And I just want to show you guys Wen Jiabao, the guy who has the Prime Minister of China, who has $2.7 billion of hidden riches. That's a picture of him right there. Yeah, he's a modern day princeling, and he's still living to this day, making money every day. So I just wanted to inform you guys because this is swept under the rug because of the communist government in China. But yeah,